allow us.
Okay, I have started the recording.
Okay.
Okay.
To figure out how to download it from there. All right, so
No,
yeah, this
I'll
is
take
the monthly meeting of the Kinney Quarter Collaborative Board of Directors. This meeting is open to the public, and the agenda was posted this morning for folks to review, and minutes will be provided afterwards. The meeting is being recorded for posting on Facebook. So just a disclosure to anyone listening or attending. Today we have a quorum of board members present with Judy Babcock, Chair and President, Caitlin Meyer, Secretary and Public Relations Director, Scott Eichchen, Director at Large, Duke John Welter, Vice Chair, and David Babcock, Treasurer and Finance, Member of the Audit Committee. We're expecting Amanda Hanson from Public Relations and Michelle Maher to join a little later, perhaps. They often run a little late, but we do have a quorum. In addition, we have a guest, Brant Johnson from the City of River Falls, who's our liaison to the city, our partner. I think I got everybody. If anybody else is on the phone, please speak up. Okay, so calling the meeting to order officially at 5:12 p.m. on March 9th. My calendar, my agenda still says February. There you go, I've got to fix that. All right, and any conflict of interest with the particular components of the agenda for anyone?
No.
I see head shakes. All right, I hear no conflicts.
Here.
Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Duke, so moved.
seconded.
Second.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there's a race is on. I'm gonna give it to Caitlin, David.
No problem.
She can record that. All right, any other comments or questions about the agenda before we adopt it? All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it, the agenda is adopted. Caitlin, do you have it handy? Would you like to read our mission out?
So the mission, to work collaboratively with the public and private organizations and individuals to assemble the technical and financial resources needed to implement the current KinniCC River Corridor Plan while preserving and managing the ecology and beauty of the KinniCC River.
Thank you. Thank you. So the minutes for the February meeting were posted pretty shortly after the meeting, I believe, Caitlin, correct?
Mhm.
Any questions, edits before we have a motion to adopt or approve? Okay, I'll accept that motion then.
So moved. This is Scott.
Scotty, all right.
Second
Seconded,
is Duke.
Duke. All right, and all in favor of approval of the minutes, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it, and Caitlin will file the minutes in our documentation folder on Google Docs. Financial review. We had our last report out at the end of January, beginning of February was actually when the report was released. There was one deposit since then, an Amazon Prime, what is that? Fundraising source. Anyway, it's the fundraiser from them. So it comes through one of the federated fundraising companies. So we got $195 from them in March or in February. So I have that deposit. Other than that, there's been no change in our financials. So I did not prepare a report, but I will do one for April because that'll be a quarterly review. So really haven't had a lot of activity otherwise. Brant or Duke, would you either like to comment on your meeting with the DNR about the surface water planning grant that you were working on, understanding how to get reimbursement, or if everything's fine, then no update is required. So I'll just give you that opportunity.
Well, they asked us for to submit hours and expenses, and we said we would. And I think Judy, you were going to shoot back to me what I shot over to you and David earlier. I
Right.
can't summon it up anywhere. So after that happens, I'll send it over to Brant, and Brant could send it in. Brant, I'm sure you got more detail than that, but go ahead.
Well, basically what we're trying to do is what we were trying to do during that meeting was just kind of figure out some of the technical issues of who needs to submit what and what can be submitted essentially. And then for finding out how much we would be able to get money back and whatnot. So, so basically what I told you guys earlier was kind of wrong about individuals sending in the stuff.
Sure.
We would need to have it from the KinniCC itself, just because that it would make it easier in that instance. But again, it was just trying to figure out how much we would want to use in like volunteer donations and how much that would be charged and whatnot. And I think we found out, John or Duke, that we could have raised some of our prices a little bit on some of the earlier submissions or something like that. And so we can go back and correct that. And figuring out how to do the drone reimbursements and whatnot, and how that should be done through, if that should be done through KinniCC or through the company that
Whichever way you want it, yep.
Yep. So, but again, I mean, we could always, she was very helpful during that meeting too, if I, Duke, I remember if you recall, and then she's been very, she knows that it's been delays here and there, and, you know, with this type of grant, it can be complicated trying to figure out who needs to submit what, and then, you know, acting as the middle person, or as the city is, it's trying, like, we would have to, or you would have to submit your expenses to us, we submit then reimbursement to you, and then we send reimbursement requests to DNR for all that. So it's kind of, you got this triangle of reimbursements that need to be figured out here and there, and it's been complicated here, but I think we'll be able to get it done here. So
do you think you'll be able to leverage the full amount based on what we submitted, or do you need additional documentation?
no, we would need additional documentation.
All right.
So
well,
there need to be more expenses submitted. So
all right, well, maybe they could reimburse that deal we did with Interflu. That would be nice if it fit under there. I don't know if it will, but
yeah, she
'cause
said that it
allows
would.
the city to match, right? So some of the hours you guys have spent on this project might apply as well, right?
But I mean, that wouldn't be actual dollars then, that would be reimbursed. The stuff that, so say Duke's trip down to Baraboo, that would
Yep.
be
For
dollar
sure.
for dollar
Yep.
type deal. And then, you know, if we did like my volunteer hours or
Yep.
Caitlin's or David's, there wouldn't be a monetary donation
Right.
per se for that. So, and I didn't know if the whole group knew that. And that's why I wanted to talk with the DNR about in
Yeah.
that aspect, to see if there was an expectation that we wanted so much of this to come back in money.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping we could get the dollars for the city to show that we've actually, leveraged the grant and you've gotten paid, right?
mhm,
Not just the volunteer hours, which is a component of the match that's required. So,
mhm.
good. All right, well, tell us what you need and we'll put it together.
Yep.
Very good. Have we heard anything then on the second grant application? That should be coming due for approvals and release of information here this month, right, Duke? The river
I think it
management planning
should
grant?
be in March. I think, Brant, you
Yeah.
should be the one that's hearing on it,
Yeah,
aren't you?
you'd see it, or Scott, if it went under his name, right?
Yeah, it'd be me or him. So, but we haven't heard anything, or I haven't,
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
heard from anything from Scott yet.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, sometime this month, I would expect. That's typically what we're hoping, but obviously they have their own delays. So it'd be great if we get that one. It'll help with some of the reseeding and planning for the river management now that the city's decided to keep the dam drawn down.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
great.
Okay.
Any other comments on those financial components that we need to worry about? Okay, all right. The next topic on the agenda is board and officer recruitment for, when we recruit someone for a board position, it's typically a 3-year term. Obviously, if things change, they can depart midterm, but hopefully they would stay 3 years. So we have a few slots open on our board. If we can recruit some candidates by directly inviting them, that's most successful, as we've learned. I am going to ask Steve Goff again if conditions have changed in a way where he feels like he could serve. Now, he wants to serve, but with everything going on with COVID last year, he just couldn't do it. He had to keep working instead of retiring and so on. So are there other candidates that we think we should invite? Scott, you've been talking to the general community between your business and work at the chamber and so on.
Well, I guess it may be helpful to, I guess, find some sectors or areas of the community in which we would like to focus on recruitment. I think that I think maybe finding somebody from, I guess the chamber or the chamber board to also join our organization, maybe of interest. But as far as any names specifically, none do really come to mind at this point.
And Caitlin,
Can we think of
go ahead.
Can we think of any areas or I guess any markets or sectors of the community that we would like to target that we're kind of lacking in?
Well, what about the university?
Yeah.
If
So
things calm down over there where, somebody could serve.
yeah, that would be
Now,
that's a very good point too.
Are we actively recruiting members from the university to help with the pre and post monitoring planning committees? Because that might be a natural entree into that conversation. And if they're doing that, it could continue, right?
Not to my knowledge, but I'm not.
Kent probably knows them best, so. All right, we'll ask Kent about who. I mean, I know that on the KinniCC River Land Trust Board, Charlie Rader has served many years. I think he's finishing his term finally. Holly Dolliver is on their board now. She's in the geology department as well, geography department, and she's just in her second year, I think. And they've had other College of Agricultural and Agronomic Sciences folks, CAFS people before, but that doesn't mean that that's the only solution. I mean, I think with the breadth of the Kinney Corridor Plan, it'd be nice to get someone from the energy area, where the folks that have been active with the Hope for Creation group on green energy and that kind of stuff, because we've committed to try to find some replacement green energy ideas as part of KinniCC, or part of the corridor plan at least, was a hope to try to look into some of that, which is a long-term project. So that might be another option, is the contact over there, I think.
Seems to me there's also a couple of faculty members who have strong interest in river restoration. So to some extent, having them on our board would be one way to involve them. But you could keep in mind that you might always want to have them involved as a consultant as we go forward.
Yeah, I think that's Kent's plan, is to wrap them into the pre and post monitoring work as more active hands-on, which engages their students, right? Which is the idea, if we can.
Sure.
So, yeah, all right, well.
Judy, have you any contacts with prairie enthusiasts?
I've certainly kept in touch with Yvonne, who's kind of their main liaison, and then Wayne Hepke, who's the grower out at Kinney. What is that? Kinney Gardens, Kinney Natives. So he's also active on their board and does a lot of work with their site management at Foster Cemetery. So those are kind of the two people I've stayed in touch with. He might be interested.
Well, since the Foster Cemetery is adjacent to what we're going to be doing, it would probably be in their best interest to have somebody on the board.
Yeah, they just reach out periodically and say, what's happening? So I give them an update. That works too.
Put somebody on the
them.
board. Yeah, put somebody on the board, you'll know.
Right? Yeah,
You can guide what's happening.
you can guide, you can get involved. Okay. And Wayne's wife, Wayne Hepke's wife, Michelle, is I think she's a Johnson. Can't remember, but anyway, she has been on a couple boards that I've been involved with, and she works at a bank in Stillwater. So it's got that financial acumen, David, that we've been looking for a treasurer. So she might be an option too, and kind of keep them connected, because they're both passionate about the prairie enthusiasts as well as their business as the native growers. So there's a couple ties there. Good ideas. Caitlin, anybody you're thinking of? You and Amanda had reached out to that contact who is running the Kinney Conditions Facebook site. Do you think that group would have some candidates?
I think if we created a post, just to think about it and post it in Kinney Conditions, I think that would pull a lot of people in, because we've seen some good things from that group. The admin of that group as well has been, she's got a pretty strong force in there. She's got
a and if we're going to start doing some hands-on work, they would be, I think, passionate about that. So
so I think they would be a good resource to reach out to.
Maybe message them and see what they think.
Yeah, and I just wondered too, if we need to maybe just give a little bit of background too when we start reaching out to people, because when you think about the corridor plan, I mean, a lot of people just think river restoration, but it's, you know,
There's more to it.
yeah, it's
Over the long haul.
downtown development and stuff too. So I think we need to make that pretty clear to people. It's not just this one little section, it's covering a lot of different issues. So yeah.
Well, we've got materials from the last couple of recruiting rounds we can refresh. So you and Amanda, I think, have those. So maybe go back to that and then add in whatever you think is relevant now.
Perfect.
And post those out. And if you want, we could do a little video invitation. That'd be another way to do it. Like, you know, come and join our board. Here's what you can get involved with, kind of thing. But think about that.
Yeah.
And so we'd want them to be voted in between, last year we added Amanda and David in May. So sometime between May, June, or July, right? Our terms actually start officially in July, but they can start earlier. So just kind of think about that. And then I think officer wise, Duke, you and I and Michelle are going to be in our third year.
Mhm.
And David's in his sort of first official year. So he'll be starting his second year. In terms of that. So we will need to start looking for, you know, whether we're going to serve more years. Duke, you and I haven't talked about, but obviously we want to keep this project going until we at least get this dam down one way or another, and get the river restored. But as other projects, I would love to see implemented as well. So one way or another, we'll stay involved. But I'm happy to turn over leadership to anyone who wants it. So, clank. All right. Well, keep those ideas flowing. And again, the personal invitation works best. You know, reach out to somebody by email, web message, phone, whatever. I can't really sit down and have coffee too easily now, but if you could do that, I guess, even if it's a video chat, then that's something. So, but yeah, let's see if we can bring in a couple of additional candidates just to keep the board fresh and keep new ideas coming in. And that'd be great. All right, so next topic then is public relations, update on what you guys have been up to for the last month, which I know is a lot.
Yeah, surprisingly, we got a lot to cover, so
And I see Amanda Hansen has now joined us, so perfect timing, Amanda.
Absolutely. As always, I will probably kick it off and Amanda will keep me honest and then finish all the details because she's always really good at making things pretty. So it's a good teamwork in that way. I'll just follow right down from the agenda. So we got the video started and scheduled. Maybe I should rewind a little bit. We talked last week about using Meet Edgar, which is a Facebook, not just Facebook, social media tool that can post in various different platforms. So you just use their library content, you upload it into there, make a schedule, and then the content goes out. This has been our really first time of using it and utilizing it. Last time was just setting it up, and now we're actually putting the content in there. And it's been really nice just to be able to log into Facebook and see that, hey, your post went out without having
Not to mention it'll send it to Instagram too.
Yep, exactly. So it's been using it to Instagram too. So it's been a huge positive for us. It's going to continue to help keep our post schedule or regular. It would help make sure that we can have a good content library filled up. So it's just going to be a really useful tool for us to use. So with that being said, we have a regular schedule right now. As the committee, we proposed ideas of what kind of posts should go out on what kinds of days and things like that. So it's really nice to have that kind of schedule laid out. The other thing that we've done then is we've put these videos for Baraboo, Colfax, and Merrill on a regular schedule. So every Tuesday and every Thursday, there will be a post that goes out with the different videos that we've put together. So we also met and tried and figured out what's the best story we want to tell with all the videos that we have. So we laid them out in a certain order, and now using Meet Edgar, they're going to be going out in that direction. So that's been really positive as well. Anything you want to add there, Amanda?
No, that sounds good. We're still obviously learning the website. website. I did learn that it actually has an app as well. I downloaded it to check it out. I need more time to figure out exactly how to work the app, but we'll get there.
Yep. So that's the video. The other thing that we've done then with the video is we pretty much solidified the dates and schedules that we want for the panel discussion after. So as part of our PR committee meeting, which now is on a regular meeting basis as
Yay.
well. So it's on the calendar, it's scheduled. But we met at our last meeting to discuss how we want the panel to work and stuff like that. So I believe it's the 26th of March.
Which date of March?
I can't remember exactly. I
I
have
thought it
to
was
look at my notes.
I thought it was the 25th.
It could be the 25th.
Okay,
Okay.
It's
Because
in
We
that.
decided on a Thursday, right?
yeah,
Yes.
2021, Thursday.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's the
Okay.
25th.
That's good.
Sorry.
That's good because our participants have agreed to be there on the 25th. So we
Okay,
better.
that's important to have the meeting when they can come.
Exactly. I knew it was around that date. I just couldn't remember exactly. So yeah, so the 25th is when we're going to be scheduled, or we're scheduled to have this panel discussion based on these river videos that we've posted on Facebook. So
Yeah,
that's
so-
exciting as well.
So who's going to set up the invite so you can record it? Is that going to be on this shared Zoom call? Or are you going to use a different tool? What are you thinking?
So that was the other part of the PR committee.
Good
Good segue.
So we do have a couple of final details that we want to square up at our next committee meeting, which is on Tuesday of next week. But some of the things that we did figure out, like with the KinniCC, we have the professional version or business version of Zoom. So any of our free versions obviously wouldn't go for the full length, but knowing that we can use the KinniCC, we can do that. We just need to figure out if we can put that on a live event with Facebook or how that's going to work. So that's just something that we have to look into as well.
Do a little fiddling with the tools, but
Yeah.
David has
Yeah.
all the passwords for you, so you should be able to set up the meeting invite and get it out, whatever is going to work. And if the Facebook tool is the best one, then obviously use that. So
Yeah, and that was one thing. So in the KinniCC, one of the things we had talked about is we have all these different tools and we don't always know the passwords or how best to use them. So we have, I think David started it for us, which is great. There should be a folder in there now that has all the different usernames and passwords. So even Judy, when you were talking about eventually, some of us board members will be moving on and new ones
Right.
will be coming in. We can pass these tools along to them if
Yep.
they want to
we want to
continue
keep them
using
active. So that's
Yeah.
good. Yep.
Yeah.
Good job.
So that's another thing that we have going together, which is awesome. And then I'm going to pass it over to Amanda because I got to catch a moment and review my notes of what else we discussed at our last meeting because it was a lot. Amanda, anything else to add right now?
I don't think so. I think you covered it pretty well. I think for us, like, the biggest thing is that we are now meeting on a regular basis, which is going to help keep things moving along. It helps that, it's starting to get nice. So we have some activities, some content we can actually push. We have things to share with people, I guess is what I'm saying. But we can always share more. So if you have ideas for things that you think we should share on our social media pages, in our newsletter, which will be coming out next week, 2 weeks, be sure to let us know. And yeah, we'd be happy to include them.
Yeah.
Oh, I did remember something else that we're putting together. And I looked at Brant, so that's why it reminded me because I was bugging his email on vacation. Sorry, Brant. But so one of the things that we really wanted to start putting together and that we think will be a great tool once we can start having more in-person events and things like that is we want these little clips of our partners. So we're going to use them individually so we can start highlighting our partners on a regular basis on Facebook. So it's just a little 2-minute blurb about who they are, why they support us, you know, and stuff. And then we're asking all of them to end with something along the lines of, and that's why we're a partner of KinniCC, or that's why we're a proud partner, something
That we're
along
supporting-
those lines.
supporting.
Yeah.
Great. That's
Um,
great.
and then what we want to do with that is we'll take those 2-minute blurbs and put them together. So it's just, and we're a proud partner, and it will just, you know, we'll have a partner video then of all of our different partners. So we can start using it then at events. We can start using it when we're at like giving a talk of some kind, you know, it will be a way to highlight who's working with us in the community, as well as maybe inspire others to be a partner. So that's what we've been working on putting together. Brant was my one contact, and he's delivering with
Okay.
Mayor Dan. So
Great.
Nope, looking to try and get him on Thursday, so
Very good.
we'll see. But he's one of those type of people that you kind of need to have the placard right in front of the camera for him to read and whatnot. So
All right.
if he can just say, and that's why the city's a proud partner, I'm fine. He doesn't need to do the 2-minute blurb.
perfect then. Awesome.
Duke, did you make your video? Duke was on my list.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we did send out in our last notes, you know, there was a list of people that we were asking others to contact. So if we did reach out to you individually, obviously either you have somebody on that list, or we're asking you to contact somebody so they can get a hold of somebody else that's a partner that they might have a better relationship with. But any questions, you know, feel free to reach out to us or anything, or why were you given a name? We can explain it to you all later, but that's the last little exciting piece about this that I think is fun. So
That's awesome stuff, you guys. Nice work on, and thanks for spending all the time on that. Wow.
I love your to-do list. Thank you. Because it's like my to forget list otherwise. So just so you know. But
Yes,
that was
we
very
really
helpful.
enjoyed having Duke to add input at our PR meeting. It made it quite more like they're already entertaining meetings, and it was just even more entertaining. So if you guys ever need a good laugh on a Tuesday and you want to just listen in our PR meeting, you're more than welcome.
oh yeah, we tried to get Judy to join us from Downton Abbey, but it didn't work. So
Sorry. I was kind of out of it that day. Post surgery. Yep.
No, we understand. It was just funny that
That was not good. Yeah. So the other item then on your list is the quarterly newsletter, which will be due out around the equinox, the 21st, which is good promotion for your event on the 25th. So that'll probably be the highlight article, I guess.
It's almost like we planned it that way.
Yeah, almost like you planned it. Good job. All right. And then Brant, I guess we can check in on Thursday about when the next city source will be coming out. And if we can highlight this event with that, I don't know when that'll be published, if that's before or after, but we can check with Mary, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let us know.
As far as a community event goes, I have okays from 3 of the 5 folks that are in the videos, and you know, if the other two don't make it, we've still got these are the 3 that I think are probably the most interesting. So the other one that I would like to get if I have a choice is the guy who is the mayor of Baraboo, and he's now the outgoing mayor. He'll be succeeded in April. But he was committed enough to doing this that he came just after he got over COVID. So yeah, I probably should have worn I can't remember. Did we wear masks, Dave?
No, we didn't, but we were far enough apart.
We were far enough apart. Yeah.
Yeah, we were 6 feet apart.
Yeah. So I need to get. I'll get back in touch with the mayor and see what we can do with Mike Palm.
Perfect. And
Sure.
if we can't get all 5, I mean, obviously we'd like all 5. Their videos are featured, but we will definitely take as many as can join us and move forward with what we have. The plan that we have is to ask for questions beforehand. So, put it out there if people can't come to the event and stuff like that. We'll still have their questions answered. We're going to plan on recording it so that it can be posted in Facebook and stuff like that as well. So we'll make celebrities out of them.
Along those lines, if our board members have questions they want to submit too, just in case we don't get a ton of questions from the general public, that would be fantastic.
Can do.
And Brant, can we also maybe like tag the city in our Facebook posts when we do the live event to see if you guys can share it?
Yeah, I'll have to talk to
Okay.
Scott about that.
Okay.
Good. Do you need write-ups on these videos from David and me still? Or
I
is
think
Dave already got done doing it?
you're talking about the bios, right?
Yeah.
Because I think bios of the people would be great, and we don't have that yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we sent them. I'll get them out.
I didn't see them, so maybe it's lost in my inbox. So if you want to send them again,
I will send them again. It's easier.
thank you.
Not a problem.
And
Okay.
and then for the newsletters, do you have what you need, or can you just hit David and me up? That's fine.
Yeah, I think we'll kind of go over the newsletter a little more in depth next week with
Okay.
Tomorrow.
and
Oh,
the
yeah,
PR
next
committee we want to include.
Yeah.
Get those
Okay.
details together when you meet. Yep. Great.
Yep.
Well, you guys have been very busy. So thank you for all your work, coordination, and enthusiasm. Much appreciated. All right. Anything else you want to share? Otherwise, we can move on to the next topic.
I think we can move on.
I agree.
Well done. Right. Well,
Okay.
Duke, then you are up with Projects and Funding Committee.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's been a roller coaster, and sometimes I just want to throw my arms up and go But the council was really helpful in the decisions it's made since the first of the year not to refill the dam and to make a decision on resubmitting its application and asking to surrender the Powell Falls license. And then they, at their meeting 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, they voted to add our request to the state legislature as part of, they voted to add our project, funding for our project, to the state legislature's consideration of the upcoming budget. So that process is going on right now, and they're scheduling hearings in different parts of the state. And I've talked with Brant about the approach for this, and we'll be approaching and talking. It's already been brought up with some legislators that the city has good contact with, and we're working to contact a wider range of legislators on and off the the Joint Finance Committee. I'm also reaching out to a couple of congressional members to see if we can make some progress there. But the highest priority is this budget. We want to see what we can get either in stewardship or in general purpose revenue to help pay for this project. And there's $30 million authorized, and it's a question of whether or not the legislature will agree to allocate a certain amount to this project, up to 1.9 million. To accompany that, of course, we have contribution already from the city and from FERC and other sources. But I've been working with TU at quite a number of levels. Well, let me just finish up the legislative part. There are other area legislators that are going to be interested in this, but the lead is probably going to be taken by Shannon Zimmerman, who's a member of the Joint Finance Committee, And he has been supportive of the project. We just need to get some figures out in front of him so he's aware of what we'd like to see joint finance do and recommend to the legislature. I don't know much about Rob Staffshold yet, but I hope that somebody that's got familiarity with him will be getting in touch, and we'll talk with fundraising committee members about that. I think now we're going to set our next fundraising committee meeting for the 23rd, the late afternoon of March 23rd. So we can, and I'll be talking with a couple of fundraising committee members before that. Let's see, we've also been in touch with TU at a lot of levels. Kayaptowicz is doing a marvelous job. They've allocated over $40,000 to this project so far now. Part of it is to work on a restoration plan. Part of it is to work on monitoring. They have added some money from the National Conservation Grant Program that TU runs to bring their total to about $47,000 so far. And I don't think that's the end of it. We'll have a request in front of the state council, the Wisconsin State Council of TU, to make how would you say it, to urge chapters and members to support this project and to offer to match up to a certain amount with state council funds. And another member of the chapter, who you may know, Scott Stewart, is going to be meeting with the board of Twin Cities Trout Unlimited, which is the third largest chapter in the organization with over 2,000 members, all of whom can be found on a Kinnikinnick on any given summer evening. And so it's time to give them an opportunity to put their money where their waiter boots are. Yeah. And the same kind of request is going to be made of them to put up a certain amount of matching funds to match member contributions. So those sort of cover some of the bases here in the Midwest, but we've also moved at the national level to ask the Coldwater Conservation Fund, which is TU's high dollar donor group, to become a member of that. You need to commit to $10,000 a year for 5 years. And a lot of those people can take that out of their postage stamp box, you know. So hopefully we'll be able to get something from the national level too. I'd like to be able to go to the legislators and say, you know, we've got commitment from TU for X amount of dollars. We got to see how long it's going to take to put that together. We haven't heard that Patagonia has reopened its grant program, and Cabela's grant was being investigated by another member of the fundraising committee who's not feeling very well right now, and so we're kind of just holding it in abeyance for a little while. So those are the major initiatives to talk about.
It's good stuff.
You know, we are continuing to look for people who are well familiar with some of the key legislators on this thing, and the other one from sort of this area is Kathy Bernier, who's from Chippewa Falls, and I'm working through some people to ask them if they'd ask her for her support. So we'll see what happens there.
Very good.
Okay. Any other questions about those initiatives? Okay.
No, thank you for keeping it coordinated, Duke. You are our champion as our vice chair and chair of the fundraising and project group. So it's not on the agenda, but I would offer, and Scott can chime in if he'd like, one little update. So Scott and I were invited by Matt Johnson, our former board member and owner operator of The Garage, Bikes and Brews down on the riverfront at Cedar Street, to come by and have a chat with Neil Anderson about discussions that Matt and team had been having with the City of River Falls Planning Commission and Amy Peterson and so on about maybe cleaning up the riverfront between Division Street and the Cedar Street informal landing right next to the new apartment complex that was built there, or next to the city hall. And I think the discussions were going pretty well with the city, Brant. I don't know if you've been tuned into any of that, but Matt was basically asking us if KinniCC would support cleaning up the debris from the June flood, all of the tree debris that's in that sort of green space on the west side of the river, and encouraging folks to take advantage of that riverfront walkway as part of our promotion. So we could potentially have some either hands-on work, or if city's going to do all the heavy work, then just saying, you know, we work together as a community of business, nonprofit, city to clean up the riverfront after the flood kind of thing. And that would be a nice visible project, even if we don't have any particular grant funds to put towards it. So that was a good discussion. Scott, I'm going to let you chime in because I didn't stay too long after we'd sort of walked the area. I came back home, but
yeah, I think it was a great discussion. I think that both Matt and Neil are in agreement, which is a good thing, and their thoughts are good in a good direction there. That area really does need to be cleaned up, and it doesn't seem like a very complex or difficult process. I think it's just getting the okay from the city to go ahead and do so. I know that they do have some level of caution when people are doing such cleanup, just to make sure that no average Joe is just bushwhacking with the chainsaw in the middle of town. So I think that's the main component at hand, I think, is getting our stamp of approval, then also getting the city's stamp of approval as well. One thing that did come up, and Duke, I was hoping to ask you about this, as far as the resources and the time and the labor to get it all done. It is a pretty large chunk of land. I'm wondering if that's something that would be worth approaching TU. I know who's the project coordinator for the
Randy Arnold.
Yeah,
that's right, Randy Arnold. Is that what is the pipeline looking like for their 2021 projects right now?
Oh, they're busy working almost every week on one spot or another on the Kinney, and they've been out most Saturdays, and with 10-person crews. Their sawyers are all certified and safety equipped, and they've gotten a lot of work done. And Randy could, if you approach Randy, he could see about scheduling a work day on that stretch of the Kinney.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to do it Earth Week, that'd be a great time for a cleanup. And I think it'd have good public support too.
Absolutely.
And I can get you Randy's contact information, or you can go through Scott Wagner. And so that's one thing. I was thinking about Randy Arnold, Earth Week. Oh, and somebody needs to talk to Casey Lely, who is DNR's fisheries biologist for Pierce County, Pierce, St. Croix, and Dunn, and square away her okay on that sort of thing. Some people look at sweepers as hindrances to paddling, and others look at them as fish habitat. And
there isn't a lot of sleepers. It's mostly piled up on the shore in a huge pile. So that's the problem in terms of a pediment. And it's going to take forever for it to break down. That was Neil's comment. And I think the city forester now had looked at the site ramp. So I know that they've had a couple of conversations about that now that Mike Noreen is in that role.
Mm-hmm.
The main press for both Matt and Neil is to keep it as low tech and low enhanced, like low development as possible. Kind of keep that site pretty natural, at least for now. So it's not expected to be a big like change to that waterfront. It's just to make it safe essentially and cleaner for the natural wildlife to grow in and keep the invasives down.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the concepts that they're sort of working through.
Is there much debris in the water?
No, it's pretty clean. I mean, I haven't been right under Division Street, but Matt was down there and said it's mainly just that pile on the big curve right across from Neil's office. So it's, yeah,
Yeah.
It's a,
there's a couple
it's a
rocks
rare-
down there, but that they're gonna stay in the river, so we'll leave those alone.
it's a rare river running through a city that doesn't have at least a few stolen bicycles and grocery carts in it.
I
Some
think
people
the-
consider those to be fish habitat too.
Yeah, the community's pretty passionate about the cleanup. Last year, we did a virtual cleanup week, so that's the other outreach is obviously with Earth Day being in April, KRLT typically spearheads the cleanup effort, whatever kind it will be. Maybe we'll be far enough into COVID vaccinations to be able to have some in-person activities or at least a kickoff of some kind with them. So obviously we'll be partnering with them again to push through that timeframe. So
Judy, could
Yeah.
we, like, as part of that stretch that they're talking about, could we also maybe like work with them just to clean up garbage and stuff? Because I
yeah,
know that
exactly. Yeah,
now that
Good.
the snow is melting, you always find treasures there.
for sure. Good ones and bad ones, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if our board met at Matt's company and stuff, and then we just kind of branched out from there and cleaned up.
Yeah, so maybe that's an outreach, Scott. Give Matt a call if there's a day or a week or he'd like us to come down and see them
Yeah.
and maybe do a visit to the new business because it is still pretty new. They just got their big
Yeah.
sign put up a week ago, right? So yeah, it'd be fun to do that and then clean up with them.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And you know, on this, I will plan on reaching out to Matt. I'll actually be touching base with him over the next couple of weeks, so I'll ask him about that.
Yeah, just let them know we support the direction they're going and want to work with them.
Yeah. Okay.
Just keep in mind
Another. Oh, go ahead.
in terms of like trash cleanup, like obviously not the debris removal, but if we ever have like a trash cleanup kind of initiative we want to do, depending on I guess how close to the river we want people to be, organizations like the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, 4-H clubs, that's something that they like do. That's one of their service projects is they look for things like that. So as we move forward through any sort of projects like that, this is something to keep in mind as organizations that might be helpful.
Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, and again, the KRLT's got the spearhead on that. They connected to all those groups in the 4-H and so on. So we would just work with them as a partner. Yep.
Another item on this that comes to mind, and this, I guess, just pardon my spitballing here, but
Mhm.
this could be a potential idea or a potential opportunity to kind of streamline more of a concerted river cleanup throughout the city's corridor. So it seems that, and I know that this type of a conversation has come up in other areas of town and from other businesses in the past, like for example, Subway, the lazy river. There's just a number of businesses and even residents who would love to do some cleanup, but they don't exactly know what the procedures are that they need to follow, what they can be doing to minimize any stepping in the wrong direction and such. So this could possibly be a way for us to streamline a clean, concerted effort to inform the city on how to properly clean up their areas of corridor in front of their businesses and their residences. Any thoughts on that?
Provide a little coordination, Scott. That's a good idea. So we can talk more about that, Brant, with your team. Because obviously the city has their methodology today around how they approach those projects and fit them into their work plan. So we don't want to interfere with that, but we'd like to partner on that. So great. Well, I'm excited to get out and pick up trash. I know our neighborhood is regularly out there. Everybody I see who's walking has a bag of some kind. So it's apparently our new neighborhoods are very tidy. Matt Newhouse and his daughter were down there the other week and showing pictures of themselves picking up trash. So if nothing else, we can have a selfie opportunity when we're cleaning up. So good. Any other topics for the good of the organization or to advance the projects?
I was gonna
I do
say,
have
Judy.
a quick,
Oh,
oh, go
got a
ahead.
couple different things. Go ahead.
Oh, I was
Go
gonna
ahead,
say
Caitlin.
it would be kind of neat, like next time if you're on a walk and you see that kind of, you know, like if you see them picking up trash again, just be like, hey, can we maybe snap your picture and share it to our Facebook page about what residents are doing? And obviously they would need to sign off on it, but I think it would be kind of cool just to like highlight people in the community and be like, see what other people are doing, get involved.
Yep.
And that would be a good way to build up a little momentum for Earth Week too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll keep our eyes open and chat with folks about that kind of a thing. So, all
Boy,
right.
you know, that
We're
might
right
be
here
a,
on the river now. So
that might be another opportunity to get those 25-pound potato bags, those
There you
mesh
go.
bags
The
with
mesh
our logo
bag.
on them,
yep, exactly.
and somehow find a way to hand them out to people.
Fill up the bag and get a prize. Huh? There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
I've
Well, we'll
got,
keep those ideas. Scott, what did you want to ask?
Yeah, I've got another item I wanted to discuss as well. Duke and I had talked, I guess a couple weeks ago now about the potential value of reaching out to the River Falls Rotary. And I'm just wondering, Judy, are you a member of
I am a
that-
member of the
that
River Falls Rotary,
organization?
correct? Yep.
Okay, so I just made a point of contact this week with the president, James Matheson, and
Yep.
he's a newer president. I believe the previous outgoing president was Terry McKay, right?
Yes.
So I'm wondering, do you have any strong contacts with the organization
So
or-
between JW and Terry, you would just ask them for a time on their weekly meeting schedule to present an update. I did an update for them about this time last year, maybe in
You have, okay.
February. So it's been about a year since they've heard from us.
Okay.
So yeah, it would be timely and, be nice if somebody besides me talks to them. So if you're willing, we can coordinate with them. They meet at 7 to 8 in the morning on Tuesdays every week.
Okay.
And I think the last week of the month, they might still be doing lunch meetings to just try to broaden their audience, particularly during this time, this shutdown time. I think everything's still virtual. They haven't come back to in-person meetings. So yeah. I mean, you want me to
Okay.
drop a note to JW and just say we would like to do an update and then we'll coordinate from there?
Well, I actually, like I said, I just made a good point of contact with him
Okay.
earlier this week. So I'll just continue that conversation and maybe set up a time for to join a meeting. But above and beyond joining the meeting, are there any other ideas that we could maybe think about looping them in on from?
Well, they have a focus grant project right now for the trail and trail development and the community forest enhancements. So that
Okay.
new project for KRLT is kind of their current showcase project.
Nice.
And they have been looking for something for quite a while. So, and most of those folks on the Rotary are members of other boards in the community or on the city council. So everybody who's a member of Rotary, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's something in particular we want them to support, they're usually pretty open to that, although it might take them a while to make a decision given what their grant project is right now. But they do have access to funds. They have some money in the bank. So if we have a specific thing, particularly signage, that they can get some visibility, seems to be one of the things they're interested in, right? They've done some benches. They've done some conversations with the city about other signs, one way or another. And then they helped with the new wayfinding signs, didn't they, Britt? Or was it the trail signs?
I think it was a trail sign.
It was the trail signs, the Kinney trail signs along the river. So they kind of support that. And then they clean up the park between Michelle's business and Heritage Park so that they sort of shepherd that little park downtown next to Michelle's movie theater. And they do a spring and a fall cleanup there with their Rotary crew. And then they do a roadside cleanup. I think they do that in the spring and fall too. So they have a couple of cleanup projects that they keep up. So they try to keep that park up to date so people can enjoy it.
Boy, I would love to have an opportunity for our group to present to them and show them the Doug Hill video from Baraboo.
Yeah, I think they would enjoy that.
Yeah, why don't I plan on continuing that conversation with JW and Duke or Judy or anybody else if you're interested in joining and giving me a hand on that as well. It'd be
Well, let me know,
it'd be
let me
nice
know
to
what you
get in
need.
front
If
of
you
the-
get stuck or get too busy, I can certainly coordinate it. I was their program coordinator for 2 years, so I know how it works.
Yeah.
In terms of
okay.
getting people
perfect.
scheduled, it's mainly, the nicest thing is we say, we can plug in anytime if you have a cancellation. They love that. Like, so, because it happens, right? Their speaker, the planned speaker can't come at the last minute and they're looking for something to fill that week. Because they get about 20 minutes to speak to people, so.
Keep me posted if you need anything from me too, Scott.
Okay.
Tuesday
Yeah, sounds
mornings
good.
at
I'll keep you
7.
posted once we get that set up. Okay,
So-
perfect. And then
Mhm.
just one last thing on that topic. Are there any other major local organizations like the Rotary that we're overlooking that anybody can think of?
The Lions Club's the other one, but they only meet 8 months out of the year, so they probably will be starting their meeting schedule again.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who's on their board that I'm connected to.
Alliance
Elaine-
Club. Oh,
Elaine.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, I can talk to Elaine. See, or Michelle Reinhold. So one of those two folks will be able to get me plugged in there.
Okay.
So that's that. And
Yeah.
then, you've got like the Moose Lodge and the Legion and a couple other of those groups. So there's, always that plug-in. And Neil Anderson's a good connection to the Legion, as is
Hmm.
Tony.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I could probably find us a connection at the Moose Lodge if
Okay.
we decide we want to go that route.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what their meeting, like if they have a member meeting or anything, but I know the Legion has stuff. So the ladies and the men's groups both meet. So.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Good.
Very good.
All right.
All
One
right.
group at a time.
Yeah, then, Hope for Creation has been sending out a few missives. So it looks like they're getting active again. So that would be another group to plug into once they're up and running. So, good. All right. Well, thank you everyone for sharing your time and energy. I'm going to adjourn the meeting at 6:08 p.m. Efficient as always. Now I'm going to stop recording and we'll pass it on from there.
Thank you.
Good to see you all.